right, so we're going to talk about this Dakota Prescott contract numbers. Mike Florio said this was one of the best contracts probably in the National Football League. Let's listen in to 105.3 The Fan about this contract.
Contract easily can be called the best contract ever signed by any player in league history. And I texted Mike and I was like, you got to come on to explain why for a few minutes. Know that you're busy. Florio, good morning. Why is this the best deal ever?
Well, you've got the biggest signing bonus ever given to a player, $66 million. You've got the biggest cash payout in the first year of the deal ever, $75 million. You've got the highest total guarantee at signing, $95 million. Full guarantee, not injury stuff. It's fully guaranteed. It'll make $95 million, and that's just over the first 2 years. Then you've got another $31 million in injury guarantees on top of it. Those become full guarantees next March. So the only way to avoid paying him the extra $31 million in year 3 is to cut him after 1 year and let him walk away with $95 million for 1 year of service. So it's a great deal from that perspective. It blows away that $160 million over four years. It blows away the payouts made under the first 4 years of the current quarterback contracts for all of them, every one of them. Russell Wilson, $29 million more. Aaron Rodgers, even more than that beyond what he made over the first 4 years of his deal. $59 million more over the first 4 years of what Patrick Mahomes is making under his current contract. So it's a great deal, and it's only 4 years. It's only 4 years. They've set it up multiple different ways that he can't be franchise tagged when this thing's done. They'll likely be back at the table 3 years from now. So it'll be 3 years, $126 million, and then another new deal 3 years from now, or the Cowboys will be looking at Dak Prescott becoming an unrestricted free agent with no ability to hold him in place after the 2024 season.
Now, that is a fantastic deal. That is a situation where is on one end, you got Dak Prescott and company getting their money, and then on the other end, as far as the Cowboys, hey, we're not being hit across the face with the salary cap. So when we look at everything, Cowboy Nation, now it's time to really evaluate what the players, the rest of the players that's on this team, who we can keep, who we can control on this team as relates to that too, and this free agency. We need to get some key players in this free agency. I would like for us to do that. I would absolutely like for us to dance around in this free agency to get maybe, just maybe, some defensive guys that we can bring on to maybe shift some things around and make an impact to this team. How can we do that? Oh, interior defensive lineman. Don't matter who the player name is out there, but we need to change the philosophy. It's all about the mindset now. It is. Now, another thing that I want to just go ahead and put out there as a disclaimer, a lot of people are looking at it like, okay, there should be no more excuses. Well, newsflash, there was never excuses in the first place. Just facts. Just because you got your money, just because you got your coins, doesn't mean that it changed anything. Look back and listen to what I said. It's better to have this brother under a longer contract than to give him the franchise tag that's going to take up majority of your money. A hard number of 37 or 38 million that you can't prorate, you can't stretch out. You can't spread amongst this and spread amongst that. So many people are so fixated on the fact that it's a large number. They look at the 40 million or they look at the 160 million, but they fail to realize that this is only $22 million, give or take, against the cap. This is a flat-out good deal, Cowboy Nation. Now we can change our minds and move and try to grab some more things to help elevate this team.
Mike, if this was Todd France and Jerry and Steven in the ring.
Final round. Fight!
How did the bout end up? Was this a knockout for Todd France? Was this win by decision? Was this almost a draw? How would this score in the boxing ring?
Oh, I think this would be Jerry and Steven punched themselves in the crotch 2 years ago and fell down, and Todd just stood there and watched and let it happen. Because what they should now this is the challenge. This is the dilemma, because there are cautionary tales this year from Jared Goff and Carson Wentz, guys who got big contracts after 3 NFL seasons, and their teams regretted them after 5 seasons.
Right.
But you know your quarterback better than anyone. And the Cowboys clearly are all in with Dak. They went highest level franchise tag last year, the Cadillac version, the exclusive version. So what they should have done after 3 years is they should have made him an offer he can't refuse then. Right after the third regular season ends, I've said this before, the week between the end of the regular season and the wild card game that they won at home against Seattle. Get a deal done then. Make him a huge offer. Give him life-changing money, and you're going to get him a lot cheaper than if you play this out, let him become a franchise tag player the first time, fail to work out a long-term deal based on that leverage he had of $31.4 million, and then now, and this was the easiest way to look at it. He had $37.68 million in hand for this year if they would have tagged him, and they would have. And then next year, most likely, he's on the open market. So they got to give him something that gets him to say, I'll take this long-term deal over what I could otherwise do. And he did it, and they did it, and that's the kind of deal that you get when you have that kind of leverage. What other quarterbacks make doesn't really matter. He had the leverage, and they had to do it. Otherwise, it was going to be one more year with Dak, and then he walks away.
No doubt. That's what we've been saying, Cowboy Nation. Hey, the earlier you get to the dance, the better you have a chance with this situation to keep the dance going. Now, of course, I know a lot of people had their reservations, but we've seen how this team operated and looked like without Dak Prescott, even before and after. Before, meaning that we saw what 2015 looked like, right? And, of course, last season, I know people going to look at it, the win-loss ratio, and they say, well, they was 2-3 with Dak Prescott, and they were not doing this and doing that. I come here to tell you guys that I believe if Dak Prescott were to remain healthy throughout the end of the year, what have you, I think that we would not have finished the record that we finished with. I think it would have been north of the win total. But that's the story of a different day. We can't put toothpaste back into the tube. All we can do now is focus in on the team that we got. I like our wide receivers. I like our tight ends. I like the fact that what we have out of our running back situation and scenario, give the mixture of Tony Pollard and Ezekiel Elliott. For crying out loud, they both are working out this offseason to become the best duo out there, right? They're working those things out. No animosity. They all working out to try to become the best of the best out there. And I love seeing that. Now, the offensive line, you can have a slight reservations on that. But if we look at it and say, man, if these guys can have a full offseason, healthy, work out together, those front five, if they can work together, man, this team can be in a whole different light than what they were last year. Flat out. Flat out. It's just that now the defensive side of the ball, everybody know I'm beating on my chest all day. Let's go get this defense better. Let's figure out a way to get some turnovers, takeaways, find a dog that's in the inside that can push that pocket back, make it difficult for the quarterback, the opposing team, to step up through their throws and things like that. And if we can have the philosophy from Dan Quinn to bring in a new temperament, man, this thing can go crazy. It can, but it starts now during this off season. Looking at the money that you got left over, go dance in this free agency. Don't wait too long, Jerry. You did a good job with signing Dak Prescott. That creates continuity and consistency. Now it's time to bring forth that defense. Let's see what they can rock with it from there.
Mike, you mentioned that there's basically they could cut him after 1 year for 96. Let's say worst case scenario for them that there's issues with the ankle. Are there other outs for them protection-wise, injury protection-wise, other outs that would be able to allow them to get out of the deal, assuming the worst case and his ankle isn't near what they hope it is?
I'm not aware of any, and there's no reason to agree to any because, again, the other alternative was franchise tender, $37.68 million, unequivocal, unconditional, fully guaranteed from the moment he accepts that. So they're stuck with whatever condition he's currently in, and he's got $126 million that he's going to make over the next 3 years. If there's a problem with that ankle and he can't play a down next year, the year after that, they're still paying him $126 million, which tells me they feel pretty damn good about where his ankle currently is.
Mike Florio.
My dog. Look, they tested out that ankle. They did. They looked at everything about that ankle. Trust me, they did. They did do that. If anything, they was looking forward to see if that ankle can hold up and be able to stand the test of time. And if they can find one little slither of imperfections in that ankle, shoot, ask my dog Jay Farm. He's in the chat somewhere. They would have used that against Dakota Prescott. Trust me on that part. You can book that. The Joneses would have used that part and say, hey, man, the ankle is falling off the bone. We can't do this. Just look at what they did with the contract negotiation with Gerald McCoy. He had some issues with his leg or what have you, and they wrote that into the contract. Look, we can say this and that about the Joneses, but one thing that I do know for sure, at least the contracts, within the language of their contracts, will be solid on those aspects of it. Cowboy Nation, I really appreciate you guys for jumping in. Of course, there will be some more videos throughout the day. Be sure to hit that like button, share this content, let a friend, neighbor, foe know where to go when they want to tune in to Cowboy Sports Talk and Beyond. My name is Law Nation, and let's go. Let's continue to grind and shine. That's been my time. I really thank you all for yours. And remember, you're listening to nothing but the best. Let's go, Cowboy Nation. Ain't no party like a cowboy party. Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's go. We out here, baby. We are.